Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the American Revolutionary mod. Last time around we had George Washington take Fort Pontchartrain du Detroit in the Michigan Territory, and by doing so he eliminated the Iroquois tribe. So we no longer have to worry about them. However, we have to worry about the Cherokee, which is down here. The Cherokee nations. Now we've tried to attack them here. I'm thinking the reason why this crashes is because of the towns like reinforcing each other, and that's why it's crashing. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. So my plan is we'll probably go ahead and have to bring two armies where we siege both places at the same time. In which case we can attack one at a time. At this moment most of the Cherokee are going to Williamsburg, Virginia. So I'm going to move Nathaniel Greene's army, which you can see have been bolstered by troops. Mostly down from the Carolinas. I might have brought a troop from Georgia, those Georgia sharpshooters. So we're gonna go and move them up the road here next to Sycamore Skulls, which is a meeting hall, a native meeting hall. So we want to block the road there. It's a kind of looks to be a pretty important junction here for the natives. It's a meeting hall, and then they have one road that leads to our territory, and then they have one going north, and it looks like they're trading with the maize or corn that are getting up there, so we would be cutting their food supply going to both these places, as it looks like all the food, the only place they have that produces food is actually here, or I mean produces a lot of food. I imagine these guys are hunter-gatherers, so they could be picking berries and hunting animals in the mountains. But losing that corn would probably do them a lot. Of course that doesn't actually happen in the game. That's just me role-playing a scenario there, but yeah. What does happen in the game is that we will block them because they've continually marched armies towards Williamsburg. So we block them from actually going there. Could be that they now would channel their anger down this road instead towards the Carolinas, which are actually less defended. But I'm hoping by that time we've defeated this army, brought this army down, and then we can do my plan of sieging both places and then taking them out one by one. Which I think is the option we're going for. Later on, what we have in store is taking out the British, because then the natives are gone, and the only one in North America then opposing us is the British. First task would be to clear up Upper Canada, where we have blocked the British from merging their forces. This force has come back as strong, not really as strong as before. I imagine some units were destroyed, but I think they're at full strength. And then there's a small force here, but I think a lot of stuff today. George Washington, aided by whoever's in charge here, Bennett Fox, and Bennett Fox is going to get cannons. Bennett Fox might actually move before George Washington is ready, because I imagine this province is quite unhappy. So Bennett Fox could go take out those. Hopefully before the British decides to take this massive force and bring that down to attack Montreal, or they could attack from both sides. Not that the AI is that clever, I don't think, but this looks like rather a dangerous army. It doesn't have a general though, so that could definitely be a problem for the British. Anyways, what we're gonna do today, I guess in the further aspect of the war. Oh, the Spanish Navy, with their invasion force, is actually moving. It has been sitting up here in, I don't know what this area is called, but up by Newfoundland. So I'm wondering where they're going. possibly moving... Oh, they moved their force in here. Could be that they're planning something here. The other enemies I have, which are the Dutch, haven't really done anything against me. They have a pretty powerful navy, but it seems to be going back and forth here in between the British, the pirates, the Dutch, and the French. Been fighting back and forth. French, of course, allied with me, the Dutch allied with Britain, and then the pirates in the middle of everything, not allied with anyone except the glory of plunder, I guess. Royal Palace. That's a pretty big thing. I don't think we will be going down here though, because at that point it would be kind of pointless and it would be just out-resolving through all of this. So the only thing is really left is this here. Yeah. With that said, what we're going to do today is we're going to take the force out of Williamsburg, Virginia, and we're going to preemptively strike Matachua, or whatever it's called, and hopefully strike him down. Now, he carries a bigger force than us. I am recruiting more troops. I'm going to recruit something here as well. No more American long rifles, I think that's enough. So we're gonna go ahead and attack there and preempt his attack. That was, I guess, a pretty expensive unit. 700 goes down to... I can't really afford more than 2 units, and let it then be Thomas Hartley's regiments. Alright, without further ado, let's strike down these natives and march on their capitals. Even if this force get mangled and could possibly not take down one of the places alone down there, I think just laying siege to it would work just fine, and I don't think the natives would try to break the sieges. The optimal scenario is that they would actually combine the two forces, move them out of their capitals or their regions and attack us, so that when we would actually lay the siege, we could easily out-resolve it, given that there's no troops there, and hopefully that would have me avoid the crashing. Anyway, Stuart Buttersworth is going to take on Matt Ochuchuhu, and hopefully that will be going just fine. Unfortunately, it seems as though the problem with the Cherokee capital has migrated to include all Cherokee troops. So we're gonna have to rethink that. Instead, I guess we're planning on doing something up in north, and instead we'll see if we can combine the forces to out-resolve and get rid of this one. I'm a little bit worried that these guys are gonna attack, and the battle will continuously crash as they try to attack, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and turn and see what happens. And they did not attack, instead they entrenched themselves, which works just fine for me, because then we can approach from the rear and we can attack them from either side. Now this can probably cause unnecessary casualties on our part, but
more orders? Yes, sir.
okay, we're not going to be able to reinforce that, but we're going to be able to bring these guys down, and then I'll be able to recruit even more troops, so hopefully we can out-resolve those guys away. Burnt down most of this region to rebuild it. One thing that I did note was that these meeting halls, I didn't really know what they were doing, but they are actually research. So a little bit strange maybe to put one of these native meeting halls to try and discover the technology of explosive shells. But maybe the best place. It can be out here in the woods blowing shit up. So I'll just keep them to get these two technologies done. Can't really move these, so
Your orders.
instead I'm gonna move.
Discretion
The
is
spies are kind of
gun to
useless,
ground.
for most part.
Sir.
All we're gonna do is, I believe we can move this army
By the land.
without much trouble. Exempt them from tax.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna move these guys as far as we can,
Setting up camp. Ready for order.
and then you're gonna follow.
Maneuvers.
And now we have a pretty strong army to take on these guys, and I do think
Yes.
this will be enough. I have plenty of guns. I have 5 cannons. That will be enough to blow them away. What we can do is we can set one of the skirmishers over from here. See if I can exempt them. Need one more, so we'll send
Ready and
dragoons
waiting-
as well.
Waiting further order.
And now that's fine. And if I think I need, I can always bring down this guy. He's within range. A little bit worried about these. A little bit worried about these. Right. With that, let's go ahead and end turn once more. No moves were made by the enemy. Garfield,
Your humble
Bennett Fox. I don't know why it said Garfield Crow, or is that because no, that's not the guy that's blocking us. Lots of recruitments, lots of construction. Build some more stuff here. And what are we gonna recruit here? Crap. Can't recruit anything good, I imagine. Provincial scouts at some point. We'll have to discover light infantry doctrine.
ready for order.
But yeah, today's battle is gonna be this one right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do this and finally get the battle done. We are even numbers. They outnumber us by 100 men, which isn't really that much. Let's jump into this battle and defeat the British. Surprise, surprise! It turns out that this battle crashed as well, and when I restarted, it turns out to be a night battle. So, it goes from bad to worse. But hopefully we'll be able to go through this one. So once again, I will go through a little bit about my setup. And what I've done is, there's still impossible terrain here, the map hasn't changed. And I've put my congressional militia to anchor them towards this, so they can't be flanked there. And if someone goes ahead and charges them head on, I've got the Spanish Marine behind there. Then we've got the, probably, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's the biggest battery I've assembled. So it's 20 cannons, should be able to blow anything away. And then we got all the line infantries going out here, plus Thomas Hartley's light infantry regiment and the Baltimore Dragoons over here. So the new units are these guys, which are not very good looking, or at least not their hat. It's hard to tell maybe in the night, but it's kind of the standard Empire Grenadier hat. It actually it kind of helps the hat. It's dark, because the textures on it is really ugly. So it kind of actually helps that you can't see it during the night. Anyways, let's go ahead and start. So my plan is to march the infantry forward, anchor them on the town so they can't be flanked from over there, have the troops stationed along this fence line, and then we'll have Thomas Hartley's here. And what we need to do, since there's a weakness on this side, but I have the cannons kind of ready to bombard anything that comes through here, so hopefully I'll be able to bombard the cavalry and everything should be fine. If there's a breakthrough in the line, we got the Baltimore Dragoons, or if these tribal auxiliary cavalry decides that they're going to try and flank us on this side, the Baltimore Dragoons can move in and attack from there. And yeah, we have a little bit of a fence line, which I'm gonna correct some of the infantry units here, just so we get right up next to that, protecting us from fire. Okay, so we have open fire. The tribal auxiliary cavalry is riding in front. I'm gonna go actually move the troops a little bit into town and then anchor them next to each other. Looks like right now, the enemy cavalry unit that I told the cavalry to target worked out fine. We shot them away. The thing to look out for is looks like the cavalry unit is not going to be able to flank, or is not even planning to flank, so I'm going to move my cavalry into the flank instead. The thing to watch out for is the British troops amassing for a charge. Okay, we've got volleys going down here. It's the first New Hampshire Light Infantry opening fire towards the Black Watch. Oh, and the Baltimore Dragoons decides to, rather than go through town, they went through this regiment instead. Little bit of a return fire from the 33rd. The British are getting closer in a few places. The light infantry over here is probably kind of what I'm most worried about, it's going to cause problem for me. Looks like they're not even going to try to attack the flank on these. Thomas Hartley's regiment should move up just so it can cover a bigger area of this. It's a bit of return fire from the Black Watch. From the forest here, we should be able to lay a bit of extra fire into the flank. The British are approaching, and the natives are now charging 5th Pennsylvania. I don't think they will be able to break through. The problem is that they broke up the fire by rank system that we had going, and that's going to cause a bit of problem. We have a unit over here that's slightly actually worried about them routing for a second there. They're wavering under the fire of so many light infantry troops, and the enemy is closing in over here. Right, let's see if I remember where I was. I had some guests. Let's see. 33rd Grenadiers. It's kind of dangerous here. Yep. They're able to start their volleying my flank regiment, and that's not going to probably produce enough fire from my guys to deter them. Then we have a few other places in the line that are not too happy. On the right though, I think due to the cannon fire and then Hartley's regiments, we're actually doing pretty well there. But on this side, I think we're not doing so hot, so we're gonna move back to new lines. Damn, there's a mass rout over on this side. We're gonna pull back to the new lines. I'm hoping these guys don't come back. We're gonna put Hartley's a bit back, slightly on an angle still. Ooh, I did not notice that. Tribal gunners, they had survived. Let's see, my Baltimore Dragoons. They've been sitting in the side here firing at the enemy. What is the 33rd doing? They're holding there. Yeah, we can hold the Baltimores for now. This area is actually quite weak, especially since the enemy is focusing kind of on this area. Great, and they're coming on strong as well. Right, Hartley managed to hold off there. I think they're charging. Anyways, they're coming way too close. I'm gonna pull the lines further back. towards the artillery. 33rd is losing a few men. It looks like they're actually firing back at the Baltimore Dragoons. They're not longer needed there, and we're gonna pull them back like so. We're not gonna join the British in melee. I'm gonna draw the new line like so. And here like so. That's a stronger position to hold. Hartley's over there. And then all the cannons will now hold fire. Prepare canister. And we're gonna give the British a greeting. They'll not forget in the first while. We're gonna put the Baltimore Dragoons just at the edge of the forest, firing at the enemy that's approaching. Right, I feel confident in our new position, especially with the cannons, and I'm gonna order a massive salvo of canister going in towards the enemy. See a lot of it hit over here, tearing these guys apart. And the British have a lot of ground to cover if they're gonna go up to the regiments, and you can see it's been thinning out here. A lot of these guys are now retreating under the pressure of the canister, which tore up loads of men. You can see the massive piles of casualties. Would be easier to see them if it weren't for the fact that it's night, but I imagine there's about 100 people there. Baltimore Dragoons taking a bit of fire from the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians are putting direct fire on them. We've got the 33rd Grenadiers trying to flank. I don't want to lose too much cavalry. We're gonna pull them back. And then all across the line, we're doing good volleys against the enemies. We're actually a little bit of the back slope of this kind of hill. Massive rout of enemies, so we formed a square with those. Native musketmen. Probably taking a toll on Hartley, and oh, we've lost a cannon over here. We're actually gonna place Hartley's regiment there. There's no way the enemy is gonna get through. I'm wondering if the cannons are continuing to fire on the regiments that they first saw. I think the AI is that stupid. Now they're gonna put quite a lot of pressure down on the 1st New Hampshire, because we've got the Ethiopians, 33rd Grenadiers, putting fire on our flank. So what we're gonna do, oh, they're doing the volley now. We're gonna let them do the volley, then we're gonna pull them back. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take these three and then draw the line like so instead. And then put the Dragoons forward so that the enemy will march into this and then get destroyed. Rogers Rangers and native auxiliary musketmen. Let's see if we can't push them away. We're gonna activate the Spanish Marines. Gonna bayonet charge them. Oh, they're running anyways. We'll have the Spanish Marines run out to that position and shoot at them as they go. Select new targets. Actually go for round shot. The British coming very close over here. Black Watch, British Marines, and the Foot Guards moving very close to our lines. It's the 26th and the Green Mountain Rangers. But with cannon fire, we dispelled that attack. We got foot guards. What's this? Regiment of New York. I'm gonna move the Spanish Marines to intercept those guys. And then I imagine the rest here is gonna fall. Lots of fire across the line. There's a bit of the only really strong point they have left. 33rd Grenadiers firing towards the Baltimore Dragoons, which is going to retire. With the enemy crushed, and I don't think we'll see these guys again, we'll take these three, move them up, create this kind of shape, destroy these. Make sure that we split the British. We're going to march these forwards. Keep the enemy marching. Actually, high losses on both these units, about 100 men each. I think it could have been friendly canister fire, but also enemy fire, because if it had been canister, then most of them would have been concentrated just here. It's a little bit all over the line. So enemy fire. The enemy troops are retreating, so it's only really here which the enemy persist. Now when I'm putting these flank regiments in, we'll soon see them leave the field. The Ethiopians have had enough, they're leaving. The general is soon going to come under fire as well. And I think we want to do a charge to get rid of the 33rd. I think it's high time. They only have that regiment left. The general is wavering. We'll order an advance of the line infantry so they don't shoot our own men. And then in the last moment, we'll actually order the charge into the 33rd Grenadiers. The Grenadiers are retreating. We will continue. Fire at will and chase down the general. Grenadiers are running. And soon that general will be running too. There he is. You can see the grey wig. He's the only one with the grey wig. He's retreating. I actually want the cavalry to take on the enemy cannons. And while they're moving... Oh! We've missed something over here. Green Mountain Rangers have gone in against the Foot Guards. Could be dangerous. Foot Guards probably quite good at melee. The 26th will move in and put volleys in the back of the Foot Guards. Probably be enough to send them away. And once these guys are ready, tell the Rangers to run away. 95 Foot Guards. We got 2 in the first volley, that's not great. Got 3 in the second. And 4 in the last one. It's enough to break them. And we've saved the Green Mountain Boys. Or Green Mountain Rangers from a headache fighting those guys. And even before my cavalry arrives, sufficient barrage and the fact that the general and everyone has left means that the enemy leaves their cannon position as well, and the battle is won. Very good. Let's go back to the campaign map and see the outcome of this battle. Here's the result. So Bennett Fox lost about 1,000 men, while the British lost 2,200, leaving Bennett Fox in command of 2,300, while the British remain 1,000 strong out of their 3,000 men. So lost 2/3. Highest killers is actually Green Mountain Rangers, then we have an artillery, 5th Pennsylvania, and Baltimore Dragoons doesn't come until the 4th place. Normally cavalry comes quite high, but we only had 1 cavalry, and in this battle I mostly just used them to shoot from the back of the horses. The enemy commander, funnily enough, is the 2nd time he managed to survive and slip away from us. 4,000 to replenish. We're gonna continue chasing them.
Ready for order.
I'm not gonna move these guys forward to attack them, to completely annihilate them.
Ready and
But I think it's safe to say we don't need these guys on this side, so I'm gonna move them to the bridge instead.
for crown and country.
And then we're gonna mount the troops there for an assault. And we'll try to figure out what I can do here. Right, the natives are out on the move. It's kind of annoying that I can't actually fight them. We are in between the episodes. I'm gonna try to see if I can actually start a battle with these. Might have to restart the computer or something to just see if I can get something going, because it's kind of anticlimactic to have to auto-resolve all these. But maybe not. The British have always been the main goal, and I mean I've got a pretty sizable British battle coming up at some point there, so that'll be nice. With that said, we're gonna end it right here, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!